Hi, we are live. Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to this very special show. I am so excited to have the one and only Ann Jirsch with me. So we'll introduce Ann and we'll get her situated here with you guys. I'm so excited to chat with her. If you don't know me, my name is Jake. I'm a hypnotherapist, a quantum guide. I use hypnosis in a variety of ways, including future visioning, which I learned from Ann, helping clients to connect with their inner wisdom, connect with their own knowing, and find the confidence and the clarity to move forward in the best way possible. So I'm joined by Ann Jirsch, who is a pioneer and creator of future visioning. She's one of the trailblazing folks who brought future life progression and this idea of like going into the future through hypnosis to the world. And so Ann, if you want to just introduce yourself and say hello.
Pleasure. My name is Ann Jirsch. I'm based just outside London, just outside, so I can jump on a train and get into central London very quickly. I've been working in this field for 45 years. That ages me, doesn't it? But it's 45 years, probably a bit more. And I started off reading cards. I still read cards. I love reading cards. Work with past life regression. And I just had some experiences where we started zooming off into the future. And what happened was I started to take my clients into the future, and what they were seeing was happening much sooner. I could see them sort of getting their direction, getting that vision of what they needed to do and be, rather than, be lost. Everybody says they're lost. What way do I go? I'm stuck. Everybody says that. And that, when it started to happen quicker, that's when I knew it was my life work. I thought, if you can help people just find what they need to be doing and where they're heading, and show them a glimpse of that, and get them on the right path, that's it. And I made it that become my life's work that instant.
I love that. And it's so true. I mean, I've seen it in my own life and I see it in so many people, that spinning around. You have too many options, you are unsure of where to go, you have you have insecurities or you're working through your own self-worth and you can end up just wasting all of your energy spinning around and not really going anywhere. And I've definitely seen the ways that people can just push back their dreams and never actually go for them. And I totally agree. I think that the tapping into the future and helping people in that way, it expedites your journey and helps you to really fast track onto the path that you're meant to be on and the path that you want to be on too. Because it's not about predetermined futures, it's about helping you to understand the power that you have. So wonderful. Well, you said a little bit about kind of your time in this field and working with the future. Do you want to share a little bit about how you got your start in that? I know you said you had some spontaneous future journeys, but I've read some of your books, so I know a little bit of the story here. But for those who aren't familiar with you, you want to share a little bit of that kind of journey?
Yeah, sure. So I actually had some military guys come to me, and they wanted to know about the past. Hello, Corbin. Hello, Corbin Lee. The military guys wanted to know some stuff from the past. They wanted me to regress them and take them back. Something had happened in the past. I don't know. I didn't actually ask too much of the details. I just needed to know the place and the time to go back to, as you can with regression. And I brought somebody else in to do it because I wanted to concentrate with them. And all three of us jumped forward. We didn't realize we jumped forward. We thought the session just had gone wrong and it was a bit rubbish. We thought we'd had a rubbish regression because we didn't go back to that point in time. What we actually saw was the attack on the Twin Towers. And it was only when it happened a few weeks later that we realized what we'd seen. I mean, I think it was Steve said, I'm seeing two skyscrapers, there's smoke coming out of them, there's people on the ground running. The two skyscrapers are identical. Helicopter going round, it's going round the building. Oh, it says CNN, we're in America. Then Dave said, I'm not seeing that. I haven't gone back either. He said, I'm looking out over a bay. And he said, it was the weirdest thing because it didn't make any sense. He said, all I know is the skyline has changed. How can a skyline change? And we're thinking, don't know. How can a skyline change? And I said, well, I haven't gone back. I'm looking at Middle East and oil and pipeline. So we just said, this is rubbish. We actually went off for a curry and went off to drink beer and eat curry. We just sort of went, we just presumed it was rubbish. But when it happened 3 weeks later, I was sitting in the office and the boys are phoning me saying, and put your TV on. So I'm at the office, get the news on, get the news on. So I'm watching what they described, what we saw. So at the time, we felt really awful because we didn't know enough to stop it. You know, Mark Twain, the great Mark Twain, said, when somebody said to him, you see, God sees every little bird that falls. And he said, what's the point of seeing it fall? You know, we need to kind of do something with that knowledge, and we didn't know enough. So that really shook us up. And then I started to experiment with the guys. After a couple of weeks, we started to settle into it and think, why has this happened? Why have we all met? Why have we all come across each other? You know, we felt like there was some sort of connection. We had loads of strange coincidences and happenings. So we started to, I to take the boys into the future, and they were always right. This wasn't the odd fluke, everything. And it was things that you thought were at the time were ridiculous. I mean, I remember Dave saying, I said, are they looking for bin Laden? There's $1 million rewards. We thought, I knew where he was. He was up the Khyber Pass. I actually had already put a cross on a map. I wanted to see if they saw the same thing. And Dave just said, nobody's looking for bin Laden. They're not looking for him. And I said, why would they not be looking? He said, the whole thing's much more complicated than what we're seeing. It's not a surface. He said, anyway, they are getting ready to invade Iraq. And we actually all burst out laughing at the time. It don't sound stupid now, but at the time it sounded ridiculous. I went, who? He said, America, UK, they're all getting ready. I went, why? And he said, listen, they're going to say they got weapons of mass destruction, but they know they haven't. This was his exact word. Then the next, but I'm going to do some more work with Dave because we've not done anything for a long time.
Yeah.
I really think it'd be good. I'm starting a podcast, so I want to sort of do some more of this work, and it'd be great to get people, you know, people interested and looking, and just we need to be more visionary about the world. So, what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, with Dave, he consistently predicted the future. He ended up as military going out to Iraq, bodyguarding journalists. The whole thing was utterly strange. But then I started to take clients forward. I started to take my clients forward, and they started what they were seeing at 5 years. And they would describe where they're living, who their future partner is. They would, where they're working. They would really go into detail. And then they'd call me up and say, it's happened 5 months, 6 months, 3 months. And that, I'm not a patient person. I know spiritual people always say, be patient, dear. But I'm not. I'm not patient. I don't want to be patient. I think patience is overrated. And we started, once that happened, then I had some sessions myself. And I took one of the self-help gurus into the future. He saw himself in America, living in the Hollywood Hills. And he saw he had a TV show. He had no plan to go there. He said, there's no way I'm going back. It didn't go very well last time. I came back with a broken heart. He'd fallen in love with you and worked out. And within a few weeks, he got called up by the biggest man in television, saying, let me know when you're out here next. I want to have a chat to you about a show. He ended up going out there, making a show, living in the house. He described the house. I've stayed there. He described the house exactly. So when I went there, I went, oh, yeah, the window is right outside the pool. And he'd already described the place. It was just phenomenal. So we were having huge things happen in great detail. And that's what really got us, that the detail of it, and that we were seeing the future. A lot of people go, oh, it's like that thing when you want to manifest and I go, no, it's not. We are seeing the future. But as you know, Jake, I mean, you're really good with this. I mean, you really get this. There are many possibilities. And we get up and we're on remote control each bloody day. Every day we're on remote control. I'm on remote control. I get up, you know, make a cup of tea, eat some egg, get out the door, and go that. Did I feed the cat? We're on remote. We're not consciously thinking about where we're heading. We're too busy. We're too busy. And coming back to that, suppose there's something so much more for you as a possibility. And that's the bit that really gets me when I work with people. Often when I look at someone, I can see so much more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's, I mean, that's some of my favorite parts of this work is helping people to see that for themselves because,
Mm,
so oftentimes, we're going to that coach or we're going to that therapist or we're going to, um, that whatever person you're going to for help. It's
yeah,
looking externally for that, and that coach can tell you all day long, those positive
mm,
things, and help assure you or give you guidance or advice or whatever it might be. But when you see yourself in that dream career, or you see yourself in
yeah,
that house that you like can't even imagine right now, it's a different feeling, it's a different experience.
yeah.
And like you said, it helps you to draw that to you even faster. And I've definitely seen this with my own experiences,
Mm,
in dipping into the future and things happening faster than I anticipated or than I saw. You might go 5 years into the future and nothing
mm,
happens in 5 months, like you said. And that's how clarity can help you. That's how really focusing your energy on that future you want can help you. But
mm,
I love that you brought up the distraction and kind of the autopilot too, because I mean, obviously I'm a human too. I deal with this as well, right? We all
yeah,
do. But it's about having those tools that help you to to move through life differently. And it's not that every day is going to be, this there are going to be those days where you are more in that autopilot or you are going through
mm,
more of the motions. But when you tap into that future that you want, it it's just a totally different way of manifesting, and it takes the guesswork out of it. I feel like with manifestation,
mm,
sometimes you can be reaching for a lot of different things, or you can be reaching really, really high, which is great. You want to
mm,
dream big and shoot for the stars. But I feel like the ways that future visioning helps you to really get clear on the details and really understand, okay, but how do I get there, and what does that look like? Not just willing it or putting the energy out, because that's an important layer of it, but it's helping
yeah.
you to get those concrete steps too.
Yeah, it is about changing the energy. We try and create something bigger from our current consciousness, from our current energy and how we are. And it doesn't work like that. Manifesting, the amount of people say, "Oh, I manifested $200 and I had a gas bill for $200, so perfect." And I go, "Come back when you've manifested the 20 million." And that's the bit. We're not, exactly as you're saying, we're not good at manifesting because our energy's not there. And I remember Michael Neal, I don't know if you know Michael Neal, the Hollywood coach, tremendous guy, tremendous, lovely, lovely man, because some are nice on stage, but not so nice off. He's lovely all the time. He's just lovely all the time. He's just a great guy. And he put on event in London. He invited me over, and it was about being a happy millionaire, being happy. Because a lot of people with a lot of money aren't that happy. Be happy with it, and I love that. I love the idea of that. And there's one guy in the audience who said, "I want to manifest 20 million pounds and have spiritual centers all over the world." And the guy had holes in his shoes. You don't go from holes in shoes. Lovely man. He was a lovely, lovely man. But it's very difficult. I come from a very poor background, so this is something I've battled. And to go from that holes in your shoes 20 million ain't gonna happen. It's fantasy. So you've got to be able to feel it and live it and start walking that path. So what's different? What's different about that future you who's done that? And if I take that guy 20 million, just say to him, okay, that's a very different you. Just handling 20 million, just knowing how to handle that money
Mhm.
isn't an easy job. Thinking big and handling the money and how people react to you differently and not always nicely. There's a whole bunch of people trying to rip you off. There's a whole bunch of stuff goes with that. So how about we start with one center? How about we start with one center that's nothing much? You've got to paint it yourself and it's not in a expensive. Let's start with that and then get your energy, move it. But yeah, the manifesting most people don't get. Michael is wonderful, Catty. He is a lovely, lovely man. I had a lovely chat to his daughter a little while ago. That she's an adorable, adorable girl as well. Great family. I love being around these people that are positive off stage as well. You know, just kind, and he is naturally kind. He is lovely. So yes, is that what's that future you different? Who is that future you? What's different about that future you?
Hmm.
There's something different there. And what does your future self do when they get up of a morning? How do they spend their time? What do they put their energy into? Because sure as hell, if you want the 20 million or whatever it is, you ain't gonna get it rowing with people on Facebook every day. Oh yeah, yeah, that ain't gonna work. That isn't where you put your energy.
Hmm.
And a lot of that is sabotage. I think we sabotage. I'm sure I've sabotaged, as I say, because I come from a poor background. Where I'm from, we're good at fighting from the bottom up. So when you've got nothing, we'll go out and earn some money. We will feed our kids and put the heating on. But it's fighting from the bottom up. There's a certain point where we go, I've got some money, and we just go and spend it. And it took me a long time to go, I don't keep it. In fact, one of the major publishers said to me, and you don't hang on to it. You don't keep it. So it's learning. And it could be for love. I mean, some people want to find love in the future. What's different about them? If they're just not meeting somebody, what's their future self done differently to meet
Hmm.
that wonderful person? What are that future self? Are they different in relationships? Have they mixed with different people? Have they changed what they feel about themselves? The type of person they're attracting? What's going on? So there's so many ways, even health, even with health. I love tapping into a future self who's healthier, stronger, fitter, smarter. I love that. I love that. Just what do they do different? Well, they don't sit there watching daytime TV and eating biscuits, that's for sure. So we tap in, but it's what we see with that future self is often tiny changes now over time. And so it's nothing that drastic or dramatic. The other thing I found is when you start, because one of the things we do is anchor that future self, and that makes a huge, huge difference. So, anchoring our future self, it's a weird thing, but something in us changes. So, when self help guru found America, I got him to do me a session, but he actually said, I saw you with free book deal. Now, where I'm from, you don't get free book deal. You don't. And from Slough, don't get free book deals. It don't happen. I couldn't read and write properly when I left school. I had a very bad education, as any of my friends, if they're listening in, will tell you. We left school, we really couldn't read and write properly. I used to write a paragraph and just put a dot at the end, and I didn't know that was wrong. It was like a sentence that long. Didn't know. So but in a short space of time, I've moved to better offices. I had a free book deal. Everything, celebrities were phoning me up. So something in you changes. So the opportunities and the situations start coming to you. And whereas before we might have been nervous, we're not. We're tapping into that energy. We start to go, no, this is good. I like this. And we start to own it and feel it and love it. So it creates a big inner change, which is what you was mentioning. It changes something in us energetically by tapping into that future self.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It really does. And I've experienced this personally. I've seen this with
Mm,
clients, and
mm,
um, that's some of the coolest parts of working with the future. And you brought up a couple of those cases, whether it be health or whether it be
mm,
relationships or whether it be
mm,
um, home or career. I mean,
mm,
there's really no limit to what we can explore,
mm,
but
mm,
it's just a matter of what's going to be appropriate for you and what's going to work for you. Um, but you brought all these up, and a lot of these things we can also address with past life regression. And so I'm curious to hear kind of your take on why you would take someone to past life regression versus future life progression or the future visioning, and and if you have like preferences. I mean, because I know you're leaning towards the future work, obviously,
mm.
but
Yeah.
there's value in the past as well. So I'd love to hear your take on that.
That's an interesting question. Past life regression to me is mind blowing. It fills in the gaps of who we are, how we, even down to silly things. It's like, why when I first met my sister-in-law did I have this repulsion? You know, or something. Your brother's brought home a new partner, and you go, oh, you know, you have this, and that can be past life. There's so many things that can come from past life, and I feel it. It blew me away when I first went for past life regression. I spoke to people that had regression. This is going back a lot of decades, and they talk about it. And of course, you couldn't Google anyone, you couldn't find anyone. You only had the good
Mm.
old yellow pages, and there was nobody in there. And they talk about it, and I'd try and find the person they'd gone to, but they'd moved, and it went on for years. Then we had this great American. I still think she's the best, Denise Lynn. I love Denise Lynn. Her as a past life regression work is just masterful. I know there's other people out there that are big, but I don't think there's anybody to match her. And I had profound experiences, and I just thought this teaches us so much about ourselves and fills in the gap. I do focus mainly on the future, but past life regression can explain so much why we're drawn to certain places, you know, why we got certain people, this whole soul group. How did I end up with this family? You know, sometimes we sit there and go,
Mhm.
how did I end up with that person as a father or a mother? How did I end up with, you know, when you feel like you feel like the alien in the family. How did I end up here? You know, it explains so much. So I love past life regression. I think it's teaches us a lot about ourselves. Really, yeah. When I teach it as part of the FLP training, I I I kind of I always say to people, there's some really big courses out there for years, but the first one you do will be nothing like you've been taught. I like working with, I show people how to do it, I give them all the tools, but I say work instinctively and intuitively. And it's a story, and it's a profound story because it's a massive part of that person's life. So I love past life regression. I really think regression to childhood, you know, we did a lot of digging for many years until Bandler come along. Really, it was all about digging up the past. And I
Mhm.
love Woody Allen once said, "I've been in therapy 20 years, but I think I'm nearly through." And it was that where endless therapy. And now we're finding that constantly digging up your past actually reinforces the negative parts. It doesn't. It's like, no wonder my life's shit. What happened when I was 6 years old? It's always going to be like this, and it kind of locks us in. So I love that Bandler came along. When I don't even want to know. We're just going to find out how you're processing this. Now you feel we're going to change it, and I love that. So we're in a time now where we don't dig up the past, and some people love to wallow in the past. And yeah, they've had stuff happen, but as Bandler says, why live it twice? Why go through trauma twice? So yeah, I think for I know a number of people that work with trauma, and they release that from the past, and it's incredible work. So there is value in looking at the past, definitely. I'm future focused because I feel en masse we need to create something better than what we got. It's like we've outgrown that old life, and we need to create a new world, new way of being.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I feel that so strongly. And I wholeheartedly agree with you. I mean, that's why I train with you, and I love you, Anne. Um, but that idea of like we really do need to build the future that we want. And
Mm-hmm.
I think there's so much, whether in the spiritual community or just the mainstream community, of looking for that external savior, whether it be mainstream religion or it be just the spiritual folks looking for the ETs to come down and save us, um, or you know, whatever it might be. And it can be personal, it can be collective, and realizing that we are the ones who are going to lay the groundwork and start to build that future. And we might not see it come to its full expression within our lifetime, but we are a part of um, that lineage, that we are a part of creating that future. And I think the more that we can have clarity and the more that we can be intentional about it, it helps us to not waste our energy and to build that even faster. And I think especially right now, there's so many people who are just feeling so hopeless. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
so many people that I talk to who are just in the deepest of dumps and are just like having a hard time because the world is chaotic. It is unstable. There is lots of change happening so quickly. And I think that I love future visioning on a personal basis for people, because it gives them a feeling of control. It gives them a feeling of power, and like, oh, I can create this. Like, I saw myself in this future, and I can build that. I can move
Mm.
towards that. And rather than wallowing in all of these things that you can't control or that you don't have direct impact of, right?
Yeah, that's a really good point, because the thing is, we are losing control of our lives. Just talking to somebody in the Middle East yesterday, in a proper Middle East country, and she said something she's dealing with. She'd normally go into the office, do the paperwork, get it signed, speak to somebody. You can't do that anymore. You fill in a form online. So 2 months later, she's not heard anything. Went down to the office. No, we don't see anybody here. You have to go online and fill in a form. So she's done that. She can't phone. You get an automated message. You're talking to a robot. This really bothers me. It was about some years ago. A woman wanted to start a business. She's a really high-end businesswoman with 4 other people. It was some tech thing. Really smart woman. And she said, we got refused, but we can only do this type of business through this one bank. And they came back and said, we can't, because one of the directors, there's an issue. And they were baffled. They were all clean cut people. So she said, I need to know what and how. And she said, this was the bit. She says, a good 10 years ago, she said there was no person to talk to. And that bothered me. That really stayed with me. There was no person to talk to. So they're stuck. They put a fortune into this business. They're ready to launch it. And the one bank can't give them a reason why. That is our future. And I keep saying I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and that's because I know so many people that believe every batshit theory. We could sit here and make something up, and they'd all believe it. They just believe anything, and they drive me mad, because that is actually feeding propaganda. That is actually feeding smoke screens, and we need to tap into what's really happening and what we need to worry about. And the other thing that really jumped out at me, I got rid of all the BBC, Sky News, all of them. I got rid of all that. And then you become more instinctive. But the thing I heard about that bothered me, it was during COVID. And I don't know what they were protesting about, but Canadian truckers were protesting about saying, and they had their bank accounts frozen. That was like a huge alarm bell to me, because that really, yeah, where we were, because it was about 25 years ago. My publisher mentions this regularly. We were sitting there and I said, there's no money in the future. She said, well, there has to be money. And 25 years ago, that was a ridiculous concept. It's going to be numbers. It's going to be numbers. Or will those numbers be frozen? Will you be kicked out of your home? You own nothing, be happy. Well, I won't be bloody happy. I want to own my house. I want control of my life. So they're the bits that bother me. But I think for us to control as much of our lives as we can, or en masse, go to the people that aren't controlling that. If there's one bank that lets you use cash and is a bit more open and actually has a desk with people, we should all use that. I think en masse, we've got to work together. But yeah, you're right. People feel hopeless, but they feel more helpless than what they are. I had a whole bunch of guys. I was on a New York show, and they be dudes. These are proper young guys, proper dudes, smart, quite street boys. It was an interesting show to be on. And they said, there's nothing for us to do. And I went, no, there's never been more opportunity. You can actually start a business for nothing with your phone. You can start a business. You can get PayPal. You can get anything you want. You can teach stuff. You can do ebook. You can start a business for nothing. That years ago, you only started a business if you had a rich family, because you'd have to go to the bank and say, oh, please give me some money and please let me open a bank account. No, Alvin Toffler, in the 80s, I read a lot of Alvin Toffler, and I'm going to go back and reread. And Alvin Toffler, God, he's probably the greatest futurist. And back then, I was fascinated by what he had to say. And he said, in the future, yeah, you'll love him, Jake. You'll absolutely love Alvin Toffler.
Alvin Toffler, you said?
Yeah, Alvin Toffler. he blew me away. This is back in the 80s. It was like I was glimpsing something then. And he said, in the future, it's going to be an even playing field. He said, and people won't. Hello, Kadash.
You can.
Hi, I see you. He said, with an even playing field, he said, because at the moment, it's the people born in certain families get the opportunity. You know, you go into certain fields of work because your dad was in that. Like you had opportunity, and poor people didn't. And my family come from workhouse, and if you look up London workhouse, you get a flavour of it. That's why when people talk about privilege, we didn't have any privilege. We really struggled. So you think of that even playing field. We're coming up to that point when you can sit there and compete with the biggest. You can sit there and compete with anybody. And Alvin Toffler said that won't make people happy. He said, because at the moment they can go, the system's against me, it's this, it's that. He said, when it's an even playing field, if you don't make it, it's down to you. And that stayed in my head since the 80s. I've not read his book since the 80s, but his words stayed with me because I thought it was so profound. But what he predicted about the future, so accurate even back then. Wait, how he knew what he knew is incredible.
Well, I'm sure he maybe wasn't using the same words as us, but was tapping in similar ways, right? I mean, we have these visionaries who have been able to access this information, whether it be from the future or the past or the collective net of information, collective consciousness, however you want to conceptualize it.
Sci-fi writers. Oh my God, the predictions.
Right?
I made a list of this. I'll have to dig it out of the list of predictions on what they saw in the future, which made no sense back then. It's so accurate now. It's absolutely mind-blowing. It's so good. So exciting. I mean, I see the future as exciting because it's fast. It's going to change very fast. And so we need to be adaptable. Listen, your primitive selves, in past lives, if you were primitive, your ancestors were adaptable. They had to be, as they wanted to survive. And now we come back to that time. Let's be adaptable. Let's adapt. That's what we have to be. We almost need to be primitive in the future. That constant thinking about opportunity, where we're going, who do I need to mix with? Who do I believe? Who don't I? Because I watch people so caught up in echo chambers. Don't care what side they're on. You wear a mask, you don't. COVID's fake. No, it's not fake. It doesn't matter. It's just as soon as you slightly go, that might be true, and answer something, everything that you're fed on your social media and news and everything else is feeding that belief. That's why when somebody said to me years ago, you go and see a film and you come out and you go, oh, I didn't like that much. And the other person went, it's great. It was amazing. No, I didn't like the actor. No, he was brilliant. By the time they've worked on you a bit, you go, no, it was an amazing film. I've watched people do that so we're being brainwashed to be in some sort of echo chamber, and we're given facts to believe, to build that. So our beliefs get stronger and stronger. So anybody that believes anything different, you go, God, you idiot! How could you possibly believe that person's good or bad or whatever it is? You get so staunch, and that division. I think we got to stop doing that, because years ago we used to debate and talk and go, yeah, but have you ever thought we can't debate anymore? People go mental if you have an opposing view or say, I don't think that's right. They go mad. They go, really, people's whole lives have been ruined because they've said, no, I don't agree with that. The flood, the pile-on, the aggression. We've got to stop doing that. Just go, yeah, they believe that. Okay. We've got to stop doing it. That, I think, is where we're going wrong. I think if we just step out of it, it's like stepping out of all that. Step out of all of it. Somebody wants to believe that they're eating the aliens are feeding them. Believe it. Let them believe whatever they want. That they think this politician, that politician, or whatever, that leader's bad or good. Let them leave them to be. Step out of it. Then you become the observer. And there's something really sweet about being the observer. Then you start to observe the future. You start to go, okay, they won't all believe that. A big one for me, so I'm talking 100 miles an hour, I do that. A big one for me, when I first started looking at future lifetimes, and looking 50, 100 years, everything seems so calm and serene. Change is perpetual, isn't it just? So I thought to see everyone seemed to be in a room, just calm, just getting on with their work, and they all seemed serene. And I mean, and I when I wrote my last book, it came out the first week of the first lockdown, and I said I can see everybody just being at home on their own, no partner, no social life, nothing, just at home working. But they seem calm. Now I look at it again and I go, no, they're subdued. They're subdued. It's different, and they have no life. They're just sitting. And my friend said it's like living in a filing cabinet. You know, the old-fashioned, but just loads of people in living in filing cabinets with no life, and that's that is the way we are going. That it's not, there's no excitement, there's not travel so much, and I'm starting to see travel being taken away from us, and it's done with little bits, little changes. So every so often they go, oh yeah, you won't be able to drive. Well, we can't drive into London. Driving into London's hell. You've got congestion charge and some other ULIS thing, this thing and that thing. It just costs a fortune just to drive into London. You get the train. Oh, I get the train everywhere now because driving is so much harder. And I'd have to pay a fortune just to drive into London.
Mm-hmm.
These little tweaking. So once we're all just got travelling by train or bus or whatever, it's easy to put on less service or say, oh, we're cutting 1 day a week for the environment where nobody can travel on a Sunday. I see now they're saying people over a certain age, they're going to stop them driving. Well, that age will come down. You might think you're safe at 50, but you're moving towards 60. That'll go from 70 to 60. Then it'll be younger people. No, you're not going to be allowed to drive till 25. It'll be gradual change. I'm really seeing this happening. There's these little changes, little controls. And if they did it all in one go, we'd riot, but we don't. It's a little bit here. They're talking about 15-minute cities. So
Mm-hmm.
we will end up in our boxes. And I think this is why we need to collectively back the people who don't do that, or back whatever stops that. I think we've got to be more collective in how we move towards the future.
Oh, 100%, 100%. And we were talking a little bit before the show about the distractions and the ways that I really see technology, especially our phones, being such a big tool of control,
Yeah.
and it's within the social medias, of course, but it's more than that. It's every app, it's every piece of your how you interact with the technology, whether it be your computer or your phone. It's built to keep you coming back and have you wanting more. And you talked about like the arguing on Facebook, and I think social media can be this thing that, yes, can provide connection, can provide a platform to get your message out there, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it can also be this black hole that just sucks you in, and suddenly you're not building your life, you're just arguing with other people, you're not creating anything, you're just in this cycle of emotion. And
Yeah.
so I think there's a lot of different layers to this, but the more that you can, like you said, take that step back and be that observer. I mean, I work a lot with the higher self, and I really think that helping people to connect with that part of themselves, it helps them to step more into that observer role, to be more objective when it comes to the things happening around them, to be more discerning, because you shouldn't just believe anything that you see. You should be listening to your own intuition. You should be listening to your discernment of, okay, but does that feel right to me? What does my higher self say? What do I feel inside as far as what this truth is? And doing your best to discern if you're in that echo chamber, if you're finding yourself only seeing the same views as you. And I think that with so much of the transition online, it makes it so much easier. I mean,
Yeah.
when you're interacting with people in the real world and you're face to face with people of all different beliefs, all different ideas of what the world
Yeah.
looks like. I mean,
Yeah.
I talk to people all the time when I'm out and about
Mm.
of all different beliefs and religions and what have you. And I think that that is so important for understanding and remembering the humanity in all of us, because
Mm.
whether we believe the same thing or not, we are humans and we are here together to learn and to grow. And um, I definitely think that the cosmos is too vast for all of us to just be humans. But I think that um,
Yeah.
it doesn't negate the point of like seeing the humanity in each other, remembering that uh, that when we boil it down, we are all, most of us, looking to have a happy life, to have friends and family and
Yeah.
loved ones
Yeah.
around us,
Yeah.
to have a little bit of comfort and to be secure and safe in our world. And so the more that we remember those commonalities, I think it helps us to shift past that
Yeah.
division, because exactly like you said, when we band together, when we come together,
Mm.
we're so much stronger, and that those methods of control are not going to be as effective, or are
Yeah.
not going to work in the ways that they want them to when we come together, because we aren't we might have this external perception of top down power and control,
Mm.
but we know at a quantum level that that's not true. We're all creating this reality together. We are
Mm.
all um,
Yeah.
a part of the consciousness that is bringing
Mm.
this reality into existence. And so, remembering that and realizing that, and and then tapping into the future and seeing the best possible timeline for you just helps
Mm.
you to be, I think, that powerful co-creator that you already are, and to be that person um who is creating in the world, not just consuming, because I think that that's really what they want us to do, is to just consume, consume,
Yeah.
consume.
Yeah.
And that is how we lose our humanity. That's how we become those, kind of zombified corporate workers. You give up your agency, you give up your creativity, that innate power inside of you, and
Mm.
and that's kind of how it ends. You give your power away. And so I think future visioning is one tool that can help you to reclaim that power and to step back into it, I think, in a really profound way.
Yeah, I love that. And but by going into the future, you see that we seem less divided. We do seem
Oh yeah.
less divided, and I love that. Is see the similarities, not the differences. And that's exactly what we need to do. I've got I've got three friends that have gone into politics on a local level. All three are in completely different parties. All three of them in one's Labour, one's Lib Dem, one's Conservative. They're all good people that just want to make a difference. They're all three of them are really good people. But I've got one friend and he's extreme left. And because I said, oh, Sharon's going to be doing this, and she's trying on a local level, she was trying to really help with mental health, because mental health locally was a mess and funding wasn't being used. It was getting, so she went into it for that. And the one party that could help her do that, she joined. It wasn't a political thing. He stopped talking to me because I mentioned her. And I went, yeah, but the point is, she's trying to help people. Some of them are living under a bridge. They're freezing cold. They've got mental health, and the money's not going to them. So it's not to do with the political party. We each individually need to go, what is it? What is it we're doing? How can we need to step out of that rigid, that party is disgusting, that party is terrible, that one's wonderful, they're going to save us. None of them bloody save us. I've been listening to this since I was a kid, and it's all like, that lot, they've ruined everything. Watch us put it right. Every party that gets in says the same thing. They don't
Mhm.
change anything. Then the next lot get in. Just step out of it all. Stop getting rigid and opinionated. Because I'll tell you an interesting thing I did, Jake. It was just a little extra, and I didn't explain it. I put on Facebook, have you ever absolutely 100% believed something and then later found out that you were wrong? And loads of people said yes. They didn't make the connection to what I was saying. You're being rigid right now. Could you be wrong with what I was saying? But nobody really got that. But I love that because we can be so rigid and then go, oh no, he is an arsehole after all. Or he is trying to do something nice. We can be so rigid. And we don't know. We don't know what's really going on. But you're right, the collective, getting people together. I love how many people, I love it because it makes me smile really. How many people believe we create our own reality, then feel hopeless? And I go, if
Hmm.
you believe you create reality, why are you creating this one? Why aren't we creating something better? Why don't we have a group vision? We'll want our kids to grow up safe. We all want to live in a clean, healthy world. We'll really want much the same thing. And I love that, the unity. Forget all this other outside stuff. Forget it. I know people whose career's been ruined because they're all day long trying to find videos to send to people to prove a point. They're doing it all day long. Then the person they've sent it to goes on and finds another hour long or 3 hour long video and sends it to them. And they're, what's the bloody point? None of them change their mind. Let's step out of that. And as you're saying, let's have a clear vision. We want a clean, healthy world where people are good to each other. That's what we want. We want the same thing. We want a nice world. And we can make it happen now. We're in contact with each other. We weren't before. We can all contact. We're all around each other. I love that. I love that. There's a show on American show called Carnival. Incredible show. Quite dark in places. I don't watch dark stuff, but it's one of the best shows ever made. And in it, there's a preacher. I think in the 1930s. And he went on radio and he did preached on the radio, and he came out and he said, I've just spoken to more people than Christ spoke to in his entire life. And that really made me, because that was the 1930s on the radio in America. Look at us, we can reach millions of people and be connected to millions of people, and that collective energy can do magical things. So I think that's what it's down to me. Let's create a lovely world, because, children, grandchildren, whoever's around, whatever kids are growing up now, what we're leaving them right now, I'm not happy with.
Oh yeah, no. And that's I popped in the chat there for anyone who hasn't seen it yet. I went forward 100 years with Jennifer, who is another future visioner, along with Anne and I, and we explored a lot of these things around community and connection and family. This was also centered around kind of holidays and celebrations and how we do that in the future. And
Mm.
it was really interesting because one of the things that we noticed was, well, first there was a lot of beings who didn't look like us. There was the
Mm.
integration of extraterrestrials and these beings that are not human within our communities, and it
Wow.
just seemed very normal, and it just seemed very peaceful, and it kind of
Mm.
looked like some of those scenes in Star Trek where you see just like, all the different looking people and beings wandering around, just interacting like normal. And the information that was coming through was really around how this now moment is such an important pivotal point in choosing unity over separation, and making sure that we are not ignoring our differences. I think that there's
Mm.
sometimes where that color blindness, or oh, I don't see color, where it's okay, I understand where you're coming from, but it's not about denying the differences. It's about
Yeah.
focusing on the similarities, and learning to
Mm.
appreciate and value those differences. And so
Mm.
with that
Yeah.
vision of the future that we saw, it was like we're not going to get to that point of ET contact if we still can't accept humans who have a different skin color than us, or who have a different culture than us. I mean,
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
differences are going to be even greater with beings not from this planet or this dimension. And so
Mm.
I think that there's that added layer too, where when we're thinking about this future we want to build, and we're dreaming of this, it can be so much more than we
Mm.
can even imagine. It can be so so much like wilder and more exciting and wonderful. But we need to do the work now. We need to do the work in this now moment to build that. And I think that that's really how, you know, these tools, whether it be past life regression, whether it be future visioning, whether it be tarot, like these can all help us to be more self-aware, to move with
Mm.
more clarity um, and like intention into our
Mm.
future, I think, for sure. And
I
hello to
love
those jumping into the chat. Hi Emma, hi Lynn, hi Beth. Good to see you guys.
good to see you.
Well, we are getting close to the hour here. Oh, don't worry, Beth. I know you'll watch the replay. I did. If you have just like um, a quick answer for this one,
Mm.
I was just thinking about the differences between future visioning, hypnosis, and then tarot, because you kind of got your start in tarot, correct? You've been
Mm.
doing that for a
Mm.
little bit longer, and
Yeah.
you still do tarot readings for folks. Um, is it just that different people want different things? I mean, I understand a little bit of the difference between them because I practice both as well. But I'd love to hear kind of your take on what makes future visioning a better divination tool than tarot, or where maybe you would prefer to use it.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I've read tarot for so long; it's second nature, and sometimes it's nice, especially when your head's completely scrambled. I did a reading for a girl earlier today, and she was just, I really don't know which way to go, and I'm usually very decisive. And it was one of those dilemmas where leaving where she was would be very difficult because she's loyal and that there's great opportunity. And I just cut and dry just said, "You're going. I don't care what you think. No, you are going. You're taking 100%. I can see it, my love. Sometimes you need somebody outside of you just to have a look. Sometimes you need. I've had times when just what funny enough, I called up one of the soldiers when I had a dilemma some years ago, and I couldn't get the answer myself. And they just told me, they just went, "This is what you need to do." I don't even know why this is what you need to do. And they were absolutely right. Later, we found out why I needed to take that course. So the future vision is more you really finding your essence, that you in your best future, or you when you've achieved what you want to achieve. But it's about making it part of you, and that anchoring, when you can feel it and see it and taste it and experience it, there's a shift. You see people shift during the session, you see them walk out different. So that this is when reading, like, "Oh, I've got, should I go here, should I go there, what should I do with this?" They need somebody else to tell them. Some people just go, "Show me the big picture. I really need, I'm sick of being in a job where I'm passed over. Should I leave? Should I, will this marriage ever get any better?" People need to know, or will I ever meet somebody and they see themselves with that person? So some people need to be in their future and bring it back to now. And I love that. I love both. I love both.
Yeah. I really think that choosing your modality, choosing the tool that you want to use, really depends on you. And I think that's why
Mm.
we have so many different people doing so many different things. And even with future visioning, I mean, a session with me is going to be different than a session with Anne, is going to be different than a session with Jennifer, because we have our own
Mm.
unique energy and our own unique ways of looking at things. And
Yeah.
as you said, Anne, towards the beginning, it's like each journey into the future or the past is unique. It is
Mm.
a exploration, and you're uncovering things as you go along. And so I really view this work as kind of improv. I'm
Mm. Mm.
moving with the flow of the moment, and this, what's happening, what are we seeing, what are we experiencing, and really listening to my intuition on that. And I think that that's where the magic happens, because it's
Mm.
it's not about this like very regimented, super strict laws or anything like that. This is about unlocking that inner part of you. And I think tarot is such a wonderful tool for a lot of different reasons, but I mean, there's a reason that I'm a hypnotist and not a tarot reader, because I just love it so much. And anyway, I saw your comment, Beth, and I love it. We should definitely schedule our next Future Vision coaching session, because I bet that will help you.
That'd be brilliant. Yeah, and I want to have a session with Jake and Jen, because they've been working together, and usually about early January, I get one of the practitioners to take me forward to go and see, and I want to get a glimpse of the next 5 years. That's what I want to look at. So yeah, I'd love to come on the work that you guys are doing.
Yeah.
It's really nice for me. I do it on other people. It's nice to have a session.
Oh yeah, no, I would love that. And for those who don't know, Jennifer and I, we did the 100-year journey into the future, which I plugged into the chat. But we are also starting. We're building this into a series, and so we'll be exploring the 100-year point again. I think it's next week on the 15th. Jennifer and I will be going ahead, and then it sounds like Anne's interested in joining us too. So we're gonna get that cooking and work on that, because yeah, I would definitely love to see what comes through and see what we should be aware of in the future.
Great.
Wanted to say hello to you, Sushi Mama. Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well. And speaking of future visioning, I did, before we go, want to make sure to pop this into the chat as well. And I'll put it in the description down below also after the show is done. But if you are interested in learning future vision techniques yourself from Anne, she's putting on a training at the end of January, right at the end of the month into February. And I have a link in there for getting your tickets to that. So if you guys are interested in learning these techniques yourself, if you're interested in going through that journey, click on the link there to get your tickets to that training. I've done, have I done 3 or 4 trainings with you now, Anne? And it's always a fabulous time. It's because when you train with Anne, it's more than just her blabbing at you and talking you through stuff. I mean, there's definitely plenty of instruction and sharing, but it's really about you experiencing it yourself, not only as the client, but then as the practitioner, and really getting your hands dirty and getting in there and breaking through the fear barrier. Because a lot of times, you do that training and then you never actually do the work. And so I love when the work is integrated into the training, and it's really hands-on. It's really about like just going for it, because it is intuitive. It is about following your own higher self through that journey. So yeah, wanted to share that. Anything you wanted to add about the training, Anne?
Yeah, well, it's on American time, so it's UK time, 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. I've just got this urge to work with a lot of American people at the moment. I'm finding them really great to work with. They're really uplifting and focused, and so I'm really looking forward to that. It's a late night for me, but it's very uplifting. The training changes you, and you can start the next day. I have people who start the next day. It's very easy to work with. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I love working. I tell you why, because it attracts people who get it. They get slipping around in time. It attracts people that are on our wavelength and part of our tribes. The practitioners all get on really well together. That's amazing. I love hearing now. Well, like you and Jen, but you get, we've just done this together. We've done that. It's so cool. I'm going to be working with Jake as well on a particular project. We'll tell you more about that another day. But yeah, we're going to be working on the creative genius, your future creative genius. It's so cool. This is so cool material that we download. It's going to be great. So, but Jake, it's always a pleasure to work with you.
Likewise, Anne. So wonderful to have you. So great to chat with you, and to get in the future vibes. I mean, I love past life regression, and I love my work with QHHT, and there's so much value to be had there. But it's a different feel when you're going to the future, and even just getting to talk about it like this gets me energized, gets me excited. So it was really a joy. All right, anything else you want to share, Anne, before we go?
No, it's just lovely to see you, Catty. Yeah, Cat is a brilliant trainer. She's actually a trainer herself in Finland. Really great. No, I love. Let's just focus on creating a better future. That's all I want to say. We can all be part of something wonderful.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, we can. Yeah. So well said. All right. Thank you all for joining us live and on replay. And look forward to seeing you all again soon. All right. Bye now.